When you or I have a little extra cash, we might splurge on a bottle of wine or even a new iPhone. But when you're already rich and famous celebrity, those rando purchases get bonkers quickly. If you want to see how crazy it gets, check out the top 10 most insane celebrity purchases as voted on by you, the viewer. What's the best present you've ever received? A toy? A video game? An intangible experience? Well, sorry, but they don't hold a candle to what Tyrese Gibson got his 8-year-old daughter Shyla for her birthday. An island. Not like a house on an island, the entire friggin' island. While Gibson has kept quiet about the location of Shyla's island, for understandable reasons, he told Entertainment Tonight that she knows all about it, and the island is called Love Island. I'll be putting it on Facebook soon. Wait, what? You're putting it on Facebook? That defeats the whole purpose of keeping it quiet. Did you know Amanda Seyfried starred in a 2011 Red Riding Hood film adaptation from the director of Twilight? Wild, right? Even wilder, on the press tour for the film, Seyfried dropped the fact that she recently bought a miniature horse. Oh, and we forgot to say one minor detail about the story. It was dead. It was a stuffed miniature dead horse. Apparently, Seyfried is a fan of taxidermy as an art form, admitting to the press that a lot of people think it's weird, and I don't know why. She went on to gush about her new find. I bought a 3-week-old just this week. Well, it was 3 weeks old when it died. Seyfried brought the stuffed horse home to her pet dog, who is, in fact, alive. Muhammad Ali floored like a butterfly and stung like a bee. Mike Tyson bought a couple tigers. That's right, critics of the Hangover film franchise. Tyson's self-parodying cameos, in which he notably owns a tiger, are based on a true story, and his exotic pets cost him a pretty penny. 2 white Bengal tigers, $140,000. Their trainer, $125,000 a year. The feeling of seeing the breadth of your domain and weeping for there are no more worlds to conquer, priceless. Well, technically not priceless, as Tyson's extravagant spending habits did eventually cause him to go bankrupt, but we bet those tigers lived a really fun life while they were there. For a guy who starred as Aldo Rain, Nazi scalper extraordinaire in Inglourious Bastards, maybe Brad Pitt should have thought twice about buying a motorcycle from The Enemy. While on vacation in Greece, Pitt bought himself an honest-to-goodness Nazi motorcycle, and the 3-wheeled bike was used by Nazis for spy missions in Greece. And do we need to try Pitt for treason? The bike cost Pitt $385,000, purchased from an artifact dealer named Yanni, who opined that the Nazi mode of transportation was a collector's piece. And Pitt himself has become quite a World War II memorabilia collector, adding this bike to his collection. You'd think someone who looks like Pitt wouldn't want to be associated with Nazis, but what do we know? In the mid-2000s, R&B singer Akon was everywhere, buoyed by frank but sweet singles like Lonely and Smack That. So he decided to use that success to do a totally normal thing that every totally normal person would do given that success. He bought a diamond mine. He wasn't satisfied with just the diamonds. He wanted to own the actual mine, and he chose one in South Africa, and controversy soon followed. Akon insisted that his mine didn't sell conflict diamonds, and that everything was produced above board, but that didn't stop critics from interrogating the singer's business practices. Eventually, Akon used the Leonardo DiCaprio movie Blood Diamond to justify his behavior. I don't even believe in conflict diamonds. That's just a movie. Think about it. Ain't nobody thought about nothing about no conflict diamonds until the movie came out. Steven Spielberg is one of the most influential and acclaimed American filmmakers ever, so it kind of makes sense that he would want to own a foundational piece of American cinema. And in 1982, he got his wish, buying the famous Rosebud sled from Orson Welles' unimpeachable classic, Citizen Kane. For the title character, the sled represented childhood innocence lost. What does it represent for Spielberg? A symbolic emblem of quality in the film business is how Spielberg phrased the $60,000 sled to the New York Times. And that hefty price was more than other notable bidders were willing to spend on it, including Spielberg's buddy, George Lucas. To a certain extent, it would be more surprising to know that Nick Cage didn't spend $276,000 on a Tyrannosaurus Vitar skull. Based on what we know about the eccentric actor, it just kind of feels right that he'd make this call. Like parallel parking into a perfect space, Nick Cage owning a super expensive dino skull feels inevitably smooth. Cage's skull, which he outbid Leonardo DiCaprio on, was embroiled in a plot more bonkers than a National Treasure flick. You see, Nick Cage bought it from Eric Procopi, who called himself a commercial paleontologist, and who authorities call guilty of importing illegal fossils. Rather than having the skull seized from his property, Cage voluntarily surrendered the skull to the Mongolian government. In 1989, residents of Braselton, Georgia woke up to find they belonged to someone new. Actor Kim Basinger. That's right, to capitalize off her newfound stardom after the smash successes of The Natural, 9.5 Weeks, and Batman, Basinger decided to buy a small town in Georgia for $20 million. And Basinger, who's a Georgia native, had some big plans. A commercial center, a site for tourists, and even a spot for new film studios. These were some of Basinger's ideas for Braselton, and her vision was strong enough to persuade Herbert Braselton, whose family owned the town for 113 years, to sell her the city. He said, "She's struck a tender note with our hearts," though other residents were less than pleased to be owned by this Hollywood stranger. Wait, what? A doghouse? That's a fairly normal purchase, whether you're supermodel Rachel Hunter or not. What's it doing on this list? Wait, what? Rachel Hunter's doghouse costs $15,000? Got it. Yep, belongs on the list. Guess when Hunter sends someone to the doghouse, it's a reward, not a punishment. Hunter bought the Pooch Palace from Le Petit Maison, a company that makes custom houses for pets that resemble their owners' houses. And while 15 grand is a lot of money, keep in mind that some of Le Petit Maison's other homes cost up to $50,000. Let us know if they ever want to make doghouses based on one-bedroom apartments that don't have rent control. Sometimes it's not what you're buying that's unusual, it's how much you're buying that's unusual. You have likely bought flowers in your life, but we can almost guarantee that you haven't bought as many flowers as Sir Elton John. See, in the 1990s and early 2000s, John was living quite a tumultuous life. Among his many vices, spending nearly $380,000 on flowers. During the middle of a court case involving John's former manager and lover, John Reed, John stated, "I like flowers. I don't have any people to leave my money to. I'm a single man. I like to spend money. It's my money to spend." Now, John is happily married to filmmaker David Furnish. Here's hoping they put their horrible tulip habit to bed.